enthusiasts. I hope you're having a remarkable day. This is Dr. G. And today's topic is going to be how to map a consumer buyer's journey. So last time we were together, I spent a lot of time describing to you from a consumer behavior perspective how important it is as marketers for us to understand the journey or the touch points that each consumer goes through in their decision-making process. So today I'm going to share with you some tools that I've built in my career to help you be able to use this process not only in your assignments for class, but also as a toolkit for you to bring to your workplace. So let's get started. So the number one question that I have for you, and that you as a marketer should have for consumers, is how and why do we buy? This is the essence of consumer behavior. Sometimes we purchase things in a systematic format where it's habitual, or we've always done what we've always done, or we're subconscious about what we're actually thinking about buying and how we go about doing that. Other times we go through a very systematic process where there's steps that we take and we're very cognizant of those steps. And generally when we're doing a systematic type of purchase, there's a reason. Perhaps it's a need that you're aware of. Perhaps it's a larger expense. Or maybe it's just trying something new for the first time. So I am going to explain to you a process that I've used in my career that I find really helpful in trying to map out and get into the head of that buyer so that we can be more effective in our marketing efforts. So here's what I want you to take away from today. Last time we talked about the 5 stages of the consumer buyer's journey, and we went into great depth into those stages. Today I'm going to provide an example from my experience on how I've gone through a buyer's journey, and then I'm going to show you how you as marketers can influence that journey in a very specific way and give you a tool to do that. So those are the takeaways for today. That said, we as consumers are fickle. We don't always operate in the same manner every time we make a purchase. We have so many options from product offerings. We have so many communication channels for which we use, whether it's a streaming service or looking at something that we pass on the freeway, a storefront or a billboard, or a message that comes from one of our friends or families or social media. Because there's so many different channels and messages and offers that are available to us as consumers, it can be a pretty complex process for us to be able to map out in our minds how we're going to make a decision to buy a product. So it's our jobs as a consumer marketer to be able to help nudge that consumer into making the right choice. Our product, of course. So what I have here on the screen, this is my consumer mapping tool. And those of you who have had me for a professor before know that I use this tool in every single marketing class that I teach. And the reason is, beyond segmentation, targeting, and positioning, which is the very most important part of marketing, mapping out a buyer's journey is as if not more important when it comes to deciding how you are going to spend your valuable resources and how best to be able to reach your customer to get them to actually make a purchase. Okay, so you're going to be able to find this tool in Canvas for the particular project that you're working on. So I wanted to show you today how you're going to use this tool not only in your assignments, but in your everyday marketing life. Let's get started. I'm going to get started on an example. And the example is, so I am a consumer, like all of us are, and I recently, about 1.5 years ago, changed my whole life. I left my family in the Midwest. I changed my job. I left a really successful marketing career to teach all of you because that's what my passion is. And I moved 1,000 miles away across the country. So I moved myself via U-Haul across the country to the great state of Utah that I really had no idea anything about, but that's another story. So when I left Minnesota to reside and begin a new career in Utah, I had a vehicle. And this is the vehicle that I brought with me. My Cadillac SRX, the luxury ride for any soccer mom, football mom, mom in general. It is like the love of your life for an SUV car. It had all the bells and whistles. It was fancy. It was far too expensive of a lease payment. And so when I left the corporate world to transition into a career in teaching, I decided that maybe this wasn't the most practical vehicle for me. My lease was coming due, and I knew that let's rethink maybe, do I really need this vehicle or not? So think about this. Who am I? Who is Dr. G? Dr. G is a single empty nester. I'm not married. I have 2 children. They are grown and they're out of the house. So I think to myself, and you should think as a marketer, does she really need a big SUV to haul around her stuff? Her kids don't have carpools anymore. What's the SUV for? I'm not planning on hauling a lot of things in my life. So I thought I would perhaps create or purchase something a little bit more practical for my new life. So that said, I had a sedan in mind. So in this case, I know I have a need. My need is that my lease is expiring, I moved across the country, and I have to find a new vehicle. And I hate to shop for cars. This is not my thing. So keep that in mind too as you think about the psychographics in my head about being a buyer. So what we're going to do based on my decision to purchase a new vehicle is I'm going to walk you through the steps of a possible buyer's journey for me, Dr. G, the single empty nester, the product being a new vehicle. So you can see from my map here, we're going to just walk through all of the possible steps that I could take as a buyer. We're going to map it out so that we can really get into the head here of the buyer and try to figure out how to influence me. So the first thing that we do is we determine which decision stage I'm in. So if you remember from the last video, there's 5 steps that a consumer goes through in a buyer's journey. Those steps are linear in the theoretical world. They are not always linear in the real or the practical world. But we're going to map it out as being a linear process, knowing that I might flip from one stage to the next depending on where I am in my journey and perhaps my next step. So the 5 stages again are awareness of need, information search, evaluation of options or evaluate alternatives, making a decision, and then evaluating your purchase. So let's walk through my situation here. The first thing I'm going to do as a marketer is I am going to look at each stage of that journey and I'm going to try to figure out, how am I going to reach that person? What are the best marketing tactics that I can use for each stage? Because remember, as marketers, our resources are limited. We only have so much time and money and energy, and we have to have, in most cases, a pretty good revenue stream coming in for the business in order for us to keep our jobs, and we need to demonstrate that proof is in the pudding. So the tactics that we select are really important. So the first thing we decide is, let's go back to my example. Does Dr. G know she has a need or not? Yes, I need a new vehicle because my lease is expiring. So in that case, We look at Dr. G and the awareness of needs. If I didn't know I had a need today, you would have to attempt to educate me that the need is there. I know the need is there because I have a pressing problem. So what I do in this case is I try to select, as a marketer, those types of tactics that will influence somebody's awareness of needs. Oftentimes it's social media. We might be doing search engine optimization. So you know what the first thing I might do is go on to Google and type in new car. Maybe new car empty nester. I wouldn't call myself an empty nester, but lady who needs a new car. Or maybe, you know, super cool lady who needs a new car. You know, I'm an empty nester now. I don't need the mom car anymore. Word of mouth. I'm likely going to be talking to people who are new to the community. What kind of cars do people drive around here? I'm going to be looking around, and what do I see that I don't see in the Midwest, living in a really highly populated city? I don't see a lot of trucks. There's a lot of trucks in Utah. A lot of big Jeeps, big trucks. Probably not for me because, frankly, I'm not that good of a driver. But anyway, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to try to figure out those tactics for me to be aware of the need that I have. Once I know the need and I've gathered some, really high level information, I'm going to start honing in on the attributes or the information that I need to start bringing me closer to the decision-making process. We call this the information search. And the information search, as marketers, what we try to do is we try to be there where you're looking. What websites are you going to? Who are you talking to? What might happen when you're driving down the street and you go through a car dealer? I'm going to try to maybe look at some ratings and reviews, or perhaps ask my reference groups on types of information I'm looking at for getting a vehicle. Then I might, once I have this set, I want a sedan, I probably want a colorful car or a white car. I don't want a black car because for some reason there aren't black cars in Utah, probably because it's hot. It's like the #1 colored car in the United States is black, and there's no black cars in Utah. Anyway, so I'm going to start to gather that information and come up with a set of things that are really important to me. Maybe they're features, maybe it's a brand, maybe it is the color of the car or the speed of the car, whether it's manual or automated transmission. Is it a sexy car? Is it a mom car? So those are the things I'm going to come down with, a set of vehicles to evaluate. And what we call this quadrant here is the information search, alternatives, evaluation. We call this a consideration set. It's the handful of products that you're considering to buy. The next stage then is the conversion or making a decision. So I've collected all of my information. I've as a marketer, I've been very thorough and thoughtful on the types of tactics I'm going to show you based on that second stage. And now I need to push you into making a decision, because guess what? I have to buy something. And as a marketer, you want me to buy your product. So we do things that are a little bit different in the decision-making stage. Our goal is to convert you, buy our stuff. So I might do something in terms of offers or pricing. Maybe I'm going to have a helpful person. Maybe I'm going to select, if you're on the website and you're looking at features, maybe I'm going to pop up and say, hey, can I help you? A chatbot, per se. I'm definitely going to hone in on the website to make sure that you have everything you need to be able to make that decision. A variety of colors, prices, features, pricing, I said that already. In all of those great things that you're going to need to help that customer push them into a decision. Maybe it's your storefront. So think about the closing of the deal. Those are the types of tactics you might use in this particular process. So yahoo, I went to the store, I guess you call it an auto dealer. I went to the auto dealer, I picked out the car, I decided I was going to buy a white Toyota Camry. I will just leave it at that. I'm probably not happy with my decision. It's a very useful, practical car. It's not really a Kristy car, but you know, it gets the job done. So what do now? I just told you that I bought a Camry, a white Toyota Camry. Now I'm starting to question my purchase. I'm having buyer's remorse. I'm thinking about, did I make the right choice? Did I have enough information? Is this little car going to be as cool as the Cadillac SRX? Really, it's not going to be, but you know what? We move in different stages of our lives. So I, as a consumer, start to evaluate my decision. So as a marketer, your job is to help me believe that I made the right decision. Did I get that when I bought my Toyota Camry in St. George, Utah? No. No one reached out to me from a communications perspective and gave me a pat on the back and said, yep, you made the right decision. So what are those types of things we can do? First of all, we can have amazing customer service. Perhaps, you know, we're going to reach out to you, make sure everything was okay. Is your car in good shape? Is everything working? This could be done, you know, from a number of different communications channels. Perhaps there's going to be some how-to videos. The number one problem with my car is that I still to this day cannot figure out how to get the front lights to turn on when you open the door. Why is there not a how-to video out there on this? The back door will open. I can open the back door and a light will go on, but not the front door. So that's a really irritating thing for me. And I cannot seem to find any videos on there on what switches to push in my new car to make this happen. So think about that. If I have a pain point, you want to get in front of it. You want to communicate to me that, yeah, guess what? You made the right decision and we're so happy that you're our customer. Help me make that decision. Then we go a little bit further and maybe we talk about loyalty. So now that I am a Camry Toyota customer, as a marketer, I want to be sure that Dr. G continues to be loyal. And by that, I could do that by surveys, customer satisfaction surveys, product surveys. I could perhaps be put into a VIP program, very important person. Or maybe you will do some sort of retention program for me. And there's lots of different ways we do retention on big purchase items. Like if you get into the 16th month of an auto loan, dang it, you're looking for a new car, whether you believe it or not. Subconsciously, you're looking for a new car, and that's when we're going to start to message you, is when you're thinking up here, it's time for a new car, even though you still have 3 years left on your vehicle. And then the most important thing about an evaluation of a purchase is we want to make sure you're happy. And when you're happy, you talk to people. You share your ratings and reviews. And we're going to help you enable that. If you're a happy customer, we're going to help you. Here, let me help you write a review and share it with your friends. Or maybe we will do some sort of satisfaction survey, such as a Net Promoter Score, that we can talk about in another session. So that's how you go about deciding the different types of marketing strategies and tactics that you are going to use to get Dr. Grayson to buy the vehicle. The next thing that's really important when you're mapping these out, and you can do this in a in a linear, vertical fashion instead of horizontal like I'm doing it now. But the next thing you want to do is what messages will resonate in each of those areas. So for example, for awareness, I mentioned I'm going to go to Google, I'm going to start plugging things in. You better be sure that your search engine optimization has something like Toyota, new car sale. All of those subconscious AdWords that we as consumers are going to plug in. Then when we get to the information search, you're going to start thinking about, how do I position some of the better ratings and reviews that we have? Will I use customer testimonials? Maybe I will create a blog or a vlog or a podcast on how wonderful it is to be a Toyota driver. Perhaps it's creating content for a Carfax. So those types of key messages are the information, the features, the things that are important when you're evaluating one vehicle over the next. And then making the decision, that's when we get into the rubber meets the road. These are where you see your sales, your red tag events. I think we've all heard that. Labor Day sale. Oh, you just got your tax refund. Let's help you spend that money. Those are the types of messages that we use in making decisions. Warranty, extended warranties, all those different things. No down payment required, 0% financing. All of the offer related items that are going to help you close the deal. And then when we get into the evaluation stage, remember, I'm going to decide whether I'm satisfied or dissatisfied. If you recall, that is the dissatisfaction confirmation theory. I think I got that right. Sorry if I didn't. Those academics will come back to me later. And we are, we might do something like, happy anniversary, we're so glad you're our customer, happy birthday, here's share with a friend. We might do a message like how to change the clock in your car when it's around daylight savings times. How can I help you? Rate your service. Bring your car in to get your oil changed. All of this is about making you feel good about your decision. So this point in the mapping journey are the words, the offers, the messages that will align to get the person to the next stage of their journey. Finally, we get into communications channels. And I've talked a little bit about these as we've gone through here, but once you know the tactics you're going to use, you don't just use social media. You use a specific type of social media when you're in the awareness space. Are you going to use Instagram in a story? That's going to depend on your target market. Are you going to create awareness through YouTube or create awareness through Facebook? It will depend on your target market. So you need to be very thoughtful in each of these stages which type of channel you use. If you're in the information search, in the evaluation of options, remember you have that small consideration set, you might just go to consumer reports. Or you might want to have really specific messaging on your website. Perhaps as a consumer, you might look to Kelley Blue Book to see what the resale value is, or maybe Facebook. So think about those types of communication channels that you think that consumer are most likely, or your target audience, most likely to consume to get this information. And then finally, making decisions. As a marketer, how can you influence that decision? Definitely on the website. The pricing pages, the colors, the selections, the features, all of that has to be very succinct and give the consumer the option in their mind to sort of build their own product. And then also perhaps, most people just don't buy a vehicle off the internet. You're going to go talk to somebody. You're going to go on the show floor. You may be like me and not want to talk to somebody, but they're going to find you. So you have to talk to somebody when you make a vehicle purchase. And in that case, as a marketer, I might be able to spiff that person in terms of an incentive to get them, or a commission to get them to buy. So salespeople are always great marketing channels. Then finally, in the evaluation of purchase, once you've purchased a vehicle, we use the old standbys. We will use email marketing to communicate with you, with operational emails, with promotional emails, with feel-good service type of emails. Sometimes we'll do something from a loyalty program and give you some badging or some VIP rewards, but reasons for you to know that you have made that good purchase. So make sure that you use those traditional digital marketing channels in an automated fashion as much as possible, for that once, you're never going to lose that customer once they sign the deal, because in marketing it's not about just closing the deal, it's always getting the next sale. So that's the next part, is all about the channel that you're going to choose that's most effective for your target audience. And finally, my favorite, and I know you're going to go boo, hate KPIs. You always talk about analytics. That's because it's the most important part of marketing, next to segmentation, targeting, and promotion. And a little bit of the buyer's journey. We always have to have the proof in the pudding. And if you remember why we have to have the proof in the pudding, is because we want to keep our jobs. We want to be rock stars. We want to get that promotion, and you're all rock stars and you will be promoted, and someday you will be the vice president of marketing and you'll say, she told me when. And I will be so happy, because you are having the key performance indicators. So I am not going to go through and plug in key performance indicators for each one of these, because I don't have enough room in my boxes here, but you're going to do it in your assignments. And here, let me show you how you do that. So I mentioned, there is nothing more frustrating to a business executive than to spend marketing money. They know it's important, but they sometimes don't know why it's important. And it is our jobs as marketers to make sure that everything that we do aligns to a business objective, and that we have a measurable performance indicator to say, yep, what we did was right or wrong. And we know as marketers that everything we do is never going to be right. It is a combination of art and science, but you will be knowledgeable and you can have the proof to say, yep, we reached this objective or we didn't based on this particular measurement. So what I have done, I have dozens of key performance indicators that you need to use. And I've got them listed in Canvas. You can see my nice little pretty sheet I have here. You're going to go through and look at those and try to decide, based on the stage of the buyer's journey, if it's awareness. Maybe I'm going to measure something like how many people read my article, or perhaps how many people visited my website. Really high level stuff. If you're in the decision-making process, you're going to look at things like how many people went to that page and converted. What particular colors did they select? Prices did they look at? Features did they run through? I know it's a lot of information, and we spend time talking about this when we talk about KPIs in general and attribution modeling. However, for this, keep in mind, everything you do has to be measurable, and you have to have a KPI, because this is how we decide, or how we tell our bosses that their money is well spent, and we show a marketing return on investment for everything we do. So go to Canvas, look through the different KPIs. I've got them sorted by the type of different medium you're going to use, and trust me, you are going to be very happy if you start to use these and be able to show that you're a rock star. So finally, back to what we've learned to wrap it up. We've gone through the 5 stages of the consumer buying journey. I've showed you some tips on how to influence that journey by using a tool that we call consumer buyer's journey mapping, or touch point mapping. And you are going to have one map for every target audience in every product you sell. Sounds complicated, I know, but trust me, this will be one of the most important and most effective marketing strategies that you can pull together. So this is going to be a wrap. I know you probably have questions. I've been yakking at you for far too long. Apologize for that. Thought this was going to be a quick one, but I do get a little bit detailed when it comes to the importance of journey mapping. If you would like to reach out, you can reach me via email, via phone, call me or text me, or I have my open office, my virtual office hours Tuesday and Thursdays every week from 9 a.m. to noon, and I've got my Zoom there, so pop in and out as you'd like to talk to me. And I am so happy that you hung through and watched this video, and I'm really excited that you're gonna start using this super important tool in your marketing strategies, or for your marketing strategies and your initiatives for your business. So take care, have an amazing day, and I will be talking to you soon.